I'm trying to find my Facebook.
Oh, this time it's Sam that does it instead. All right, you guys made it another week. It is so good to see you guys. Actually, it's been what, 3 weeks now?
3 weeks.
Wow.
Scheduling and stuff and whatnot.
Talk about slackers. Anyway, everybody, welcome to another episode of Romero Pictures Heavy Metal Indie Brigade presents the Wagner Wiles, live with Lance and Sam Wagner, and my whole monitor almost fell over. Good Lord! Now you understand my troubles.
You have a ghost in the
Go
house.
back to the orb. Go back to the orb.
Anyway, and with Tyler Shea Cone, I'm going to be doing this for like 1 second.
That's awesome.
Like the
That's all right. Hey, I can do this too.
Yeah.
Okay, there you go. We'll see. At least, Tyler makes me feel like at home.
Good stuff.
He's a team player.
That's right.
Quick shout out to StreamYard. I get people asking me all the time what program I use for all of Romero Pictures Indie Brigade broadcast, and it is StreamYard. If you want your streams looking professional, give them a look. They have a free program for you to mess around with. And guys, I am going to go out at this point. If you need me, don't call me for a few minutes.
Okay.
Okay.
Thanks, Joe.
Thank you, Joe.
You're welcome.
3 weeks. It's been 3 weeks.
Welcome to live showing.
I see Tyler, I see Samantha, and I see Lance. I heard Chris Attella. Yeah, I heard Chris Attella. And we got graphics from Steve Gray again.
Yeah.
So guess what? All that's left to do is bring our guests up, Tyler. That I've been I got to be honest, I've been fanboying, geeking out because I love these two guys probably just like family. I mean, they're family to me. So if Joe doesn't mind, could you please bring up our guests, Michael and James, please? There's Michael.
Hello.
There's James. My heroes. I want everybody to know this has been a long time in the works. A long time in the works for me.
Hey, Tyler. Good. How you doing, man?
Good.
Nice to meet you.
You too.
So cool.
James,
God, I'm so
good to meet
excited.
you.
Hey, thank you. Thanks for having us, guys.
Of course.
So excited.
So what was the delay in getting them here?
What scheduling? One's a globetrotter. We talked about that a while ago.
Which one's the Globetrotter?
James,
Oh, my God.
he was
I don't
diving
even
in
know
freaking sand the other day. I mean, it was
Oh.
awesome.
Yeah, I was down in White Sands, New Mexico, and decided to try to jump off the dunes. I only rolled my ankle twice, so that's good.
That's good.
That's so awesome. Yeah, me and Michael were trying to get everything worked out, and he goes, I can't get it this week because James is he's over here and he's doing this. And then I see where he's at. I'm like, that is cool.
Yeah,
Granted,
it's
I don't know.
beautiful.
I don't know if James travels that much, so I mean, maybe he does, but it was like the timing was just too.
Hey,
perfect
I
to-
do stuff I don't tell you about. Okay,
Do you? I don't
there's
know.
stuff I do a little, not a lot, but a little bit.
That is so
No,
cool.
Look at his headset. It glows all and the mic glows. That's like pretty
It's
cool.
like a
fancy.
gamer headset.
Yeah.
It was a Christmas present, I think, last year, and yeah, it actually is kind of cumbersome. Like if I have the lights off, it reflects off my screen. Kind of annoying, honestly, but.
Oh, really? Gunny?
Do you guys work together on more than this project, or was it just this one that you worked on? Do you guys work together all the time? Are you co-producers? And
Oh boy, you want to take
Yeah,
that one?
sure. I mean, so we started working together. What was it? We made the first thing we did together was one of those 48-hour film projects. You have to make
yeah.
a short film in within the 48 hours. So we did that. We met before that through. I made a short called 2 Hours. It's like a zombie, post-apocalyptic, like action kind of horror short.
Mm-hmm.
It's up on YouTube. And so James and I live in the same town, and we kind of, we're both from a small town here in Utah. So when there's kind of, budding groups of filmmakers, you kind of know who each other are because there's not a whole lot of us in this area. So I knew who James was, and I invited him to that premiere, and he came, and we kind of started talking about working together on stuff. So he actually co-directed The Witching season with me, the previous project we made before They Live Inside Us. It's
I have
a
it right here.
The
horror
Witching-
anthology,
Yeah,
The
there it
Witching
is.
Season.
Yeah, because I went to the screening for Mike's movie, and it was
There
funny
it is.
because I'd done a lot of short films leading up to that point, but the quality that he had on that was really, really good for what he had to work with. And I was watching this, and I was just like, this is a lot better than mine. And so I was like, I need to like up my game a little bit.
Well, we spent 2 years making it. It's just a short, and we spent way too long making it. So there was plenty of time to try to get it
yeah,
looking good.
yeah,
But
it was just shot really well, and I was just impressed with it. And I was like, okay, this guy knows what he's doing. So
And this was after the 48-hour film festival thing.
this would have actually been, so that would have been before, and so we met
Okay.
at that screening, and then we talked about doing something together, and the first thing we did was that 48-hour film. And then so James is an actor. He's also a producer, writer, director. He does it all. So we were a good team because I could kind of stay behind the camera and he could get in front of the camera. We learned that pretty quickly, but he was also fully capable of editing or doing, handling a lot of other aspects of production that we could kind of share some of those tasks.
yeah,
So
we
Mike,
did
y'all-
tag team a lot on that.
the camera?
What was
Oh,
that? Sorry?
I interrupted James. Go ahead, James.
Oh, I just said, yeah, we tag team a lot of that stuff in terms of like, I'll edit something and send it to him. He'll edit it, send it back, and then he'll shoot it. I'll direct or vice versa, whatever.
Yeah.
Not vice versa on the shooting. He does all the cinematography. I gave up that dream a long time ago. I was like, I can't be as good as that. So I'm just,
Okay, so real quick, so it sounds like both of you then are involved in the editing,
Yeah.
right? Okay, good. That's good. Michael, you don't like to be in front of the camera?
I don't.
Okay.
I have a couple cameos here and there. I feel like I can handle that, but
Okay.
I don't. Yeah, acting isn't something that I'm super excited about or think that I'd be any good at. So I just kind of stay away from that.
You know
he
what?
pulls a Shyamalan. He'll show up every now and then.
No, that's cool. That's cool. I appreciate that, and you have a good look. But sometimes like if you don't feel like that's your wheelhouse, then you stay out of the wheelhouse. So that's very interesting that both of you guys are also involved in the editing process together as well. So that's why I just kind of wanted to see like how you guys work together, how long you've worked together. Obviously, if you started off with a 48-hour film festival, that's really testing, because if you like one particular genre in the 48-hour film festival, you don't get to choose that. They choose that for you. So what was your genre when you guys did that film festival?
You know what's funny about that is we
I'm
went into
laughing
it.
because I know what he's going to say.
Yeah, we went into this thing saying whatever genre we get, we're still making a horror film. It doesn't matter.
That's awesome.
So we
I
got.
don't give a rat's ass what it is.
Yeah,
doing
we're
a
like,
horror.
'cause we ended up with a period film. So what we did is made like an 80s style horror film. We're like, that's a period film, but it's
Absolutely.
so.
Yeah.
Anyway, but we, there's still the rest of the creative tasks you have to integrate. Like James had to play, what was his name?
Trey.
Trey. Yeah, Trey.
Belden,
They give
I
you like a
think.
character name and a line of dialogue and certain things that have to be in there. So it's still, very creatively challenging, and it was up to the last second to deliver.
Oh, yeah.
Like it is for everyone. But it was a good intro to like working together on something creatively. So
I love how you guys like stuck with it though. You did the 48-hour film, which is really, really tough, but you guys were able to move past that. And then you did a short, it sounds like, right after that, or was the short?
Yeah, we did the first episode of the Witching season. So it was after he had pitched the Witching season to me about the same time we were working on the 48-hour film. And after we did that, he came to me and was like, hey, do you want to maybe act or help produce this pilot episode for the series? And I was like, yeah, absolutely. Because at that point it was like getting into more some more creative freedom, not limited by the 48-hour rules. And so, yeah, that's kind of when we first jumped on board together.
And that's on Prime, Tyler. Witching Season is on Prime. If anybody hadn't seen it.
Okay.
It's really, really good.
Cool.
I thought y'all were high school classmates because y'all went to the same high school, no?
We did. I don't know if we ever met.
Okay.
We have some of the same friends. Sean Hunter, who is in episode 3 of the Witching season. He's the guy who gets taken apart by the alien. If you've seen it. So he and I were friends from middle school on. We used to go to drama classes together, and he'd always get the lead roles and I'd always get the supporting roles, and it pissed me off. But anyway, so he knew Mike really well. And so he was the reason. He's like, hey, Mike is making this zombie movie. You should come to this screening. So I met Mike through Sean, basically. So we probably did cross paths at some point. We just didn't. I don't know. I went to film school my junior and senior year. So
James got to go to a high school film school.
Oh, wow.
He's so lucky.
Wow.
Yeah.
I went to a regular old high school.
And most high schools don't have that.
Yeah.
It was fun. I had to commute an hour a day, but it was worth it.
James, we had a question from Bo, and he said, so wearing, I guess it could be but for both of you, is so wearing all of those hats, what aspect do you find more enjoyable and or rewarding?
Oh, man, that's mixed for me. I love directing a lot. I love the creative scope that it allows me to do. And that's not to say I don't like acting, but I probably find myself more enveloped when I'm doing directing and writing. Acting is very stressful in a more physical way than if you're behind the camera, at least in my experience. Especially making a movie like with They Live Inside Us, where I had to do this character for basically a year of shooting. And I remember telling Mike at one point, we were shooting some of the final scenes in the movie. And I said, I was like, I don't know if I'm doing a horrible job or a good job. I cannot see it objectively anymore because we've been doing it for so long.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, it just was like, oh man. So I think I really enjoy acting, but in small doses. Writing and directing, I can really take my time with and kind of delve into that a little more.
What about you, Michael?
I think I love editing because I love to see it come together and it's closer to the final form of what it's going to be. But I've been doing it like this way for so long that I kind of see it all as one process in a strange way. Like it's hard to, obviously these are all, writing, editing, directing, filming. These are all tasks that you would generally hire out someone or, have a specialist handle each of those. And I think I'll probably reach a point where I can't do that myself. But I see it, I really do kind of see it all as one thing. It's like, as I'm shooting it, I kind of know how I'm going to edit it together. And I feel like I can communicate that all within my own brain rather than, I totally understand the need, the collaborative, side of filmmaking and how enriching that is to the process. Like I love working with actors and music composers and, having them bring those touches, but it's strangely all feels like one thing to me now, just because necessity to do it all in that way. So, yeah.
I may be asking a Tyler question, but are you a lot of times when people do their everything, especially when they're also their final editor, do you have difficulties letting go of some things, or are you able to cut them out and not have everything?
Yeah.
We've argued about this a few times as we've worked on stuff.
Yeah.
I'm like, I want this. He's like, no, it's going. I'm like, the hell it is. And we'll go back and forth trying to.
Surprisingly, with They Live Inside Us, I think James was more attached to more things than I was to keep in there. Like there were scenes that I thought we just got to get rid of these, but James would fight for them. And I try to listen and of course, it is that part of the process is very collaborative.
Great picture.
That was a great picture.
Yeah, I think, I remember that day.
That's Mike. Get away from me. You're too close.
No.
Trying to win. No, I'm just kidding.
But that stage when we're watching it back, I really do try to take that feedback to heart. Anything that, our producers, James, Alan, and Jordan, their feedback was so important to try to get some semblance of objectivity for what it is, because at that point I've seen it 1,000 times and I'm so attached to all of it. I'm not the best person to make those calls. So I work closely with the team and try to get that response.
So Mike, I appreciate you saying that because you obviously have the emotional intelligence to be able to separate yourself from that. A lot of times directors they want to control too much. They don't want to let certain things go. They want to do all the editing and all that kind of stuff. And it sounds like you're able to do that, but you're also able to let go of what you need to, and you're able to collaborate with James and and your other producers. But typically, I would say that you're outside of the norm, because typically when that happens, you have people that are trying to put on a hat that doesn't fit them.
Right. Yeah, and I agree. I think, it was really, I took it seriously moving into like making They Live Inside Us to wear all these hats. I thought, I'd love to hire a DP or an editor or what have you, but just the way the project had to work and the budget and everything, it just wasn't an option. So it really kind of came out of necessity on this one. And I had done it before on short films. When I say done it, I mean I shot, directed, edited. Yeah. But short is a little easier to handle than a full feature. So
yeah. Well, coming out of the series, I feel like we were good at it too. Like we'd both done that style for 3 years, doing the short films and the anthology. And so when it came time to do the feature, it was almost like we knew what we were going to do. We knew what roles we'd do, and obviously if in the future, we had bigger budgets or whatever, that's ideal to have the reach to have other people come in. But we just came into it like, okay, here's our budget. Here's what we know we can do. Here's what hats I can wear. Here's what hats Mike can wear and everyone else. And once we got going, it was really pretty fluent. I mean, I remember that first night we started filming, it was a little nerve wracking, but once we got rolling again, it all kind of came back, and we basically just ran it like we did the series, and everyone pulled their weight, and it worked out.
As y'all got everything going for the witching season, did y'all see that They Live Inside Us was going to be a feature? Could y'all envision that, or did that something just kind of happen?
Yeah. So it's funny. It was actually an idea I'd wanted to make as a feature even before the witching season. So I had actually hoped to do that first, but it just wasn't, for all sorts of reasons. It just wasn't the right time to do it. So decided to make an anthology first, and that's when I brought James in. And moving into the anthology, with the stories in the witching season, I always thought it would be cool to do stuff that would have the potential to expand into something larger. So not all of them maybe fit that, but we were thinking about that as we'd come up with stories. And James and I wrote, so I wrote 2 and directed, and I did 2, and James did 3. So They Live Inside Us was one that as we started, I realized I want to do this as a short and try it and see, because I felt like writing the feature, as I tried to write it before the witching season, it was just like, I don't know, just like it was a really complex idea, and I always loved that Sam Raimi model of doing like the Within the Woods before the Evil Dead, the kind of proof of concept.
Right.
So we fit that in, and it was always going to be the next episode. So like we did the first episode, and we're like, hey, we'll do They Live Inside Us at the second one, and then it still wasn't, even the short wasn't ready. It was like, we gotta push it back.
I felt like I had like cliff notes, So when I kind of knew what to expect, but it was still. I absolutely well shot. I loved it.
I had no idea what to expect, and I was like, "When's the scary and the horror?" And I was like shocked by. I mean, it's nice to be surprised and to not know what's coming, because sometimes it's too easy to see what's coming, and I didn't. And it was nice. Did
you guys watch, Lance and Sam? Did you see the short first before?
I'd seen it but since I've been trying to get y'all on the last podcast we were on,
so I don't think
I've known about that one for. That's what I'm saying. I knew about it for a long time.
Yeah,
I'd be curious to know what you think of the short. Like a lot of people have seen the short first, and they see the feature, and they're like, they're kind of, parallel projects in a way. They're quite, obviously it's a short that's adapted into a feature, but the stories are a little bit different. So it'd be interesting to hear what you think about it.
Okay. I will watch it.
It's funny too, to weigh some people, when they watch the short first, they like the feature less, and vice versa. If they watch the feature first, we've seen comments like that, like, man, I love the short and I didn't really like the feature. And it was like, well, to be fair, first of all, I mean, it's the same basic twist and everything, right? But anyway, it's just funny watching the reactions of people who
It's
seen the series.
Itai from My Indie Productions is asking, is the short available online? It is. It's The Witching Season, and it's on Prime. Is it on other platforms?
It's on YouTube, Tubi, and Prime right now. It's called The Witching Season, and I think it's episode 4 of the series is They Inside Us. So.
That's right.
So Itai is in Australia, so hopefully it's available on his platforms because a lot of times he doesn't get to see what we see over here.
It is on YouTube though. YouTube's the best way to if there's any kind of issue like that.
There you go, Itai.
Yeah, you can just go to Witching Season Films on YouTube. I look a lot younger in it.
It's so funny.
It's
so weird watching it now.
The feature production aged me like the president. Like I just.
That's awesome. Yeah. Hey.
Hey there.
So how did y'all get from the Witching Season? Y'all got distributed through Scream Team. Did y'all was that like Justin involved with that?
Yeah, Justin reached out to me, and we crowdfunded our feature, They Live Inside Us, and we actually self-produced like print-on-demand Blu-rays to raise that budget. So we had a Blu-ray for and that was of the Witching Season, not of the movie that was to come. So because it had never been released before, other than just on YouTube. So Justin backed the project, and then he just reached out privately, and we just kind of hit it off. And yeah, the Scream Team has been amazing.
It's cool, especially
really
we've seen
awesome.
It sell out too, and that's kind of like
I was going to say that's what happened to me. We went to get it. We went to get it, and Sam had to find it through someone else. And I reached out to Michael and said, "Hey, they're sold out. What can I do?" He said, "Yeah, I was just talking to Justin about it. Blah blah. Long story longer." And anyway, so in the process, Michael had already planned on shooting me one of his Blu-rays he had, and Sam had ended up, and I didn't know, Sam found just regular DVD. So I told Michael, I said, "Michael, Sam got me the DVD, blah, blah. I'm so excited." He goes, "I'm sending you the Blu-ray. So you're going to have both." And look, I mean, just so people know what kind of person Michael is, he took his time. He wrote me a handwritten note.
He's a peach.
That's between me and him. And check this out. And this is what I want to ask you too. He sent this with it. One of his favorite.
Yeah.
Trumps. Nice.
And that's what I was going to ask you was R.L. Stine or the Goosebumps? Was that a big influence on you or y'all?
Oh yeah. Like the Witching Season was my Goosebumps.
Really, Bo?
That's why I wanted.
You really don't know.
Really, Bo?
Yeah, the Witching Season's my Goosebumps. That's what I wanted it to be. And I don't know. I just grew up with those, those books, those covers are just so classic. And they're kind of that gateway for the, 8 to 13-year-old kid to get into horror. So did you read those, James? I don't know if we talked about this before.
I remember I saw the Haunted Mask. What's the one? There's two of them. The one with the girl who's the lead. I can't remember. I saw the VHS Haunted Mask early on, and that's when I kind of started to read Goosebumps when I was a kid. My parents didn't like it because they thought it was, too violent or whatever. I don't know, but so I had to sneak around and watch it when they didn't know.
That's awesome.
But yeah, no, it's of course, yeah. I mean, I remember reading a few of those, like the Haunted Dummy. There was a mummy one that I read that I really liked. My older brother had a bunch of them, and so I'd sneak them out of his room and read them.
Good stuff.
Yeah, I'd get them at the like the book fair. They do it in elementary school, or the book order. You can order a book from Scholastic, and
yeah. Well, with the Witching Season too, a lot of when we went into this and we were talking about the episodes, like the goal was to make them watchable by a broader audience. We didn't want it to make it super, super gory or super dark. In fact, one of the episodes, Princess, the first one I directed, the original ending was like really horrific and dark. And I remember we'd shot the episode, and it was like the night before we were going to finish shooting. And I called Mike up, and I was looking at my script, and I was like, "Man, I think we're going to have to change this. This is too sick." Like it involved insinuating that the daughter character may have been killed. And it just was like, I think we have to dial this back a bit. So we rewrote it and came up with that. But that goes back to the Goosebumps thing. I think Mike, when he pitched this to me, always intended it to be something that both the younger audience and the older could enjoy, and just capturing that Halloween nostalgia that he felt when he watched and read that kind of entertainment growing up.
If people follow Michael, they'll see he'll post a lot about like those single shots of Halloween, because he just loves, they're simple shots, but they're really, I love them.
Thanks, man.
I love those. Follow Michael on that stuff. He's good.
I appreciate what James is saying too, because there's a certain, even in horror, there are certain lines that you can cross to where you kind of can lose the audience. And you want to have them intrigued, you want to have them engaged, but you also need to, you need to be cognizant of the boundaries of your entire audience, not just the outliers and not just the ones that are just all about horror and all this kind of stuff. You kind of want to be aware of the ones that maybe are, testing the waters with your project. And
target audience.
Totally.
To kind of pull them in. So you don't want to have a target audience that's this big. You want to have it bigger, and being aware, like James was saying, of I'm just not sure if that's where we want to go. I think that's really smart for a filmmaker.
Thank you.
Yeah, that was a good call. It was pretty. I mean, it wasn't gruesome, but the implications of it were darker than what the rest of the episode was.
Lance, you've seen the episode, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So in the episode, it ends with I won't give it too much away for anyone who hasn't seen it, but the bear and everything like that.
Right.
In the original draft, basically the mom wakes up in the morning and walks in there and it's like, hey, all right, time to get up. And like, there's just something covered under the blankets laying on the bed, not moving. And she's like, come on, get up. And she goes and pulls back the covers and just, So anyway, the insinuation was pretty sick, but we moved away from that.
So let me ask you, I was wondering about this then. So it's Utah, correct? I mean, is that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So now you remember I'm from Texas and I've been here a long time. So people talk, people say things.
All right, Gramps.
I'm old. I
Are you
know.
going to bring up the Mormon thing?
No.
That's where I thought you were going.
What I'm wondering is like you'll hear, it was more sports related. So if like you heard sports stories, like a professional, like I'm a big Rockets fan, Houston Rockets fan. They went to Utah Jazz all the time.
Oh yeah.
So you would hear stories like when you get in Utah, all you get's AM radio, and then it's dry, and it's so boring in Utah, and blah blah. I mean, is it feel like y'all would be? Was it kind of risky making a horror movie in Utah? Or was it kind of frowned upon?
Not really.
Or just change it. The times are good now.
So much of that really is just like No. I've heard that stuff too, and I have friends who've asked me similar things like that. The weirdest thing culturally here is that you can't buy alcohol in the grocery store. I mean, it's really pretty normal for the most part.
Right.
The culture, I wouldn't say they're anti-horror. They just don't make horror really. Like they have a lot of the religious movies. I'm sorry.
You guys drive cars in Utah?
Yes.
They're not Amish.
It was sarcastic, Joe.
Yeah. After we milk the cows, then we drive the car.
Okay, I just wanted to let everybody know my TV did not kill me. All right, thank you for your concern.
Awesome.
We were worried about
So there's not a big horror market out here, but that's not because that people are opposed to it. It's just that it hasn't been tried. And Mike and I have talked about that. That's kind of like we want to explore that and try to push that a little more.
I was racking my brains trying to think like what other Utah horror movies are there?
There's movies that have been shot here, but originated here. There's not a ton, but
they make Mormon cinema here and Hallmark movies here, and that's about it. The Hallmark Christmas movies are made here year round. Like I'll be driving down the street and there's just a house in the middle of the summer that's covered in snow and Christmas lights. Like, okay,
no, for real.
There they go.
I was at a Mexican restaurant. I walked out and there's snow everywhere. I'm like, what the hell is going on?
It's happened a lot. So it's actually kind of cool that I know of other people here that do like horror. Like Hereditary was shot here. Not that Hereditary was like a homegrown Utah film, but
I love Hereditary, by the way.
Yeah.
Oh, me too. I love it.
Sorry.
It's shot in Park City. I
Mike
think.
showed it to me. Man, that
There's
was a dark.
a lot of haters out there, but I love.
Oh
it.
yeah.
That's the movie where at the very end, like the headless person is bowing in front of the little boy. And,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Spoilers, Tyler.
Is that the
Sorry.
one with the treehouse?
It
thing?
gets wild.
Yes.
Oh my god!
She didn't like it.
I liked the movie. I didn't like the ending.
Mike showed it to me, and he didn't. So, remember, we were watching it at your house, and like it's about halfway through the movie, and some shit's about to go down. And I remember I look over, and Mike's just looking at me. He's like, "You ready for this?" What's about to happen? And woo, no, that's a fantastically shot movie, and yeah, you get done watching it, and you're like really uncomfortable, but you're also like, damn, that craft was really good. Like,
Yep.
Yeah.
there's a lot to love in that movie.
I'm an A24 nut. I love
Yeah.
it. I love that
So I think
studio.
you guys touched on a couple of interesting things. Per Ty, there should be Mormon horror, and per Lance, there should be Mormon professional
Just watch a
sports.
Mormon movie, you'll find it horrific. Like, you don't need to have. There's
not
plenty
lying.
of no. We've legitimately sat down and watched. We do what's called bad movie night. Every now and then we'll get together and just watch a horrible movie. And yeah, we've watched some local ones, and my oh my, it's. I mean, some people think that about our stuff too. I guess to be fair, right? You know, everyone's doing their passion
On
and
the
doing
eye
their
of the
dream.
Yeah.
beholder, right?
Yeah.
So I shouldn't be that unfair, but there's just you watch some of the things you're like, ugh, so.
That's how I feel about some movies.
So you guys are making movies in Utah. Are there tax incentives in Utah to make films there so you don't have to leave the state?
To be honest, I think there are. I have never taken advantage of it. We made They Live Inside Us for peanuts. There wasn't much of a budget there, so that's something that we're kind of looking at and like thinking about as we move into like the next feature, if we want to try to get some real funding behind it.
And would you consider going union?
I mean, I'd consider it.
Okay.
feel
If
like-
the opportunity presented itself and it was
Exactly.
right, we're pretty open to anything. Like we've always kind of talked like, hey, if this happened or we got this offer, would we like go for it? And we're always like, yeah, why not? Like,
Yeah.
not going to miss an opportunity. So yeah, we're totally open to whatever comes our way.
Okay.
But
So-
I do like making stuff here. Being maybe the only horror production company in Utah. I mean, there may be others, not sure, but that's kind of I like the thought of us sort of being the pioneers in that respect here in the
That's
state,
cool.
and keeping like doing stuff that's different than what we're talking about. Like, we can do other stuff here in Utah as well. It doesn't have to be in the little box of this thing or Get Out.
Have you ever considered talking to your local government or state government about tax incentives and all that kind of stuff? Because that would open up a lot of doors for you guys.
Yeah.
And it
I'm
would
pretty
also
sure.
have opportunities for talent that
Sure.
is
Yeah.
media talent and all that kind of stuff.
Mhm.
I know the film commission here does have programs like that, and we've dabbled in it. We've asked about it, so it's something that we have explored a little bit. Not in depth yet, because this movie was always going to be made the way that it was made. That was always the intent, but it was also intended to be a resume of sorts as we move forward. And so I know that they have a lot of resources, a lot of sets. And we were talking about like the Mormon movies, but there's a lot of film resources that are allocated here that comes from that, and it does trickle out. And so there's a lot of cool places you can go and get access to. And I know that the state is really pushing that quite a bit. So I would not be surprised, to your point, Tyler, if there's not some stuff we could tap into. I know we know quite a few of the guys who work up in that area. We just haven't yet delved into it just because of what this movie was. So
This was a big build up to like, making short films, to finally making a feature, but just we considered before doing They Live Inside Us to try and get a bigger budget and like do it in a much broader way, or at least in terms of like when we cast the movie, we essentially pulled from everyone that we had worked with before. Like James plays the same character in the short that he now plays in the feature. So it was just very grassroots, small scale, and like James said, that sort of resume building sort of project to
Right.
I think what you're talking about is where we're kind of looking next.
Yeah.
So that's definitely
So
something.
where does Count Spookula
Oh God,
fall on that?
I was worried.
Come on.
Oh, yes.
Come on.
Way to go, Lance.
so have
Oh,
you
it's
seen-
gonna happen.
And now
Lance,
everybody is afraid to talk to each other, look each other in the eye, because you brought up Count Spookula.
No, so Count Spookula is in episode 5 of the Witching season. I originally didn't even want to have something. So that was the episode I directed, and Mike wanted to have an original horror host character. And just like Mike has his cameos in his episodes, so do I.
Okay.
And so I was like, okay, we'll do this. And he never intended to be the kind of jackass that he was. He was just going to be the traditional
your
horror host.
classic,
Yeah.
welcome to my
Yes.
lair, you know.
And I put on the coat and this wig, and I was just like, this guy looks like a surfer. So I just went with that. And then, so yeah, we decided to
Became
do
a stoned vampire sleazebag. You pulled off the streets, and
I had to keep telling myself, I know that's James. I know that's James.
I have fun doing it. I legitimately have a hard time watching those. Like when I do it, I just go for it and I just go unchained and let, whatever comes out, comes out. And then Michael send me the edits and I'm just watching it like, oh my God, my grandma might watch this. Like, oh.
well, we made it into so he started as a character from Is That You, which is the 5th episode of the Witching season. And he was just briefly on the TV. So James played him, and that was where we sort of came up with this guy. And then we released some outtakes from that. There was a ton of outtakes that we didn't show in the episode. We couldn't fit in. So we released that. And then we're like, we should do a show with this guy, like a spin-off series, like a movie review show. So that, I don't know if you guys have seen any episodes of that yet, but we've done 3 now. And it's just insanity. So they're so much fun
for anyone who's going to go watch them, I apologize on behalf of myself. Don't judge me based on that, but they are fun to make, and it's an opportunity for us to just kind of go that humor route. Because working on They Live Inside Us in the series, we have some jokes in there, but we always come up with funny ideas as we're filming, and Spookula is an outlet for that. Where we can all these cliche horror things we come up with when we're making the movies, we can actually just put into this show. I don't know, it's a really fun character to play. Every time I do it, I'm like, oh, here we go. But it's fun. So I expect we'll do more. So
I love it. I love it.
I'm trying to find. There was a question up here about would y'all ever consider putting them together and making the director's cut, but I don't remember where I seen it at.
Oh, it was
asking
asking
the episodes
There
together?
it is, right there. Will y'all eventually have both together like a director's cut?
like the feature and the short, I think is what they're asking. Yeah, maybe down the road they'll be packaged together in something. We've talked about some stuff down the road on that. But as of right now, the physical release we had is pretty basic. It's just the movie and the trailer. So possibly there might be some opportunity down the road. We've talked about, because we have a lot of behind the scenes stuff from the movie. We have a documentary we could theoretically put out there from all this stuff, and tons of outtakes and tests. And so there's a lot we could do. I expect it will come together at some point. When, I'm not sure. I don't know if.
Nice.
Yeah. We have like hours of behind the scenes footage that we haven't done anything with. So there aren't any special features on our Blu-ray for They Live Inside Us. So we're looking at maybe doing like a making of and releasing that at some point. So
who distributed that one? Because Sam, we were trying to get the other day, and it wasn't going to be here in time for the show.
Oh yeah, it's Gravitas Ventures released.
Oh,
it.
they okay.
Yeah, they've been awesome though. They partnered with another company that did this really cool VHS tape. It's like a limited edition that they're selling. Cool. That's super cool. And they put it out like everywhere digitally. I mean, there's Blu-ray and DVD, digital. It's couldn't have asked for better. Yeah, it's pretty wide. So
I just watched the good things devils do, and then Midnight Evil.
Okay.
There was Jess Norverskard was the first one. The second one is Abel Berry and Jen Stone, and one of those is from that same
Gravitas.
Yeah,
okay.
I remember seeing it, and I can't remember who that was now. I'm totally blanking.
They've got a few that are pretty well known. 13 Cameras is one of them.
They Look Like People. It's a really popular one. That one made it up to Netflix. So they do a really wide range of stuff, like pretty indie stuff. Then you'll see things with major actors, like there was one with like Tom Hanks that they.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
They
Yeah,
did some
they'll do
pretty-
anything from indie all the way up. Yeah.
Okay. I know that name. Sorry, Tyler.
Tom Hanks. What's his
Tom
name?
Hanks, I think. Tom. You know,
Just
What?
that is.
Just that guy.
Was he in-
Have you heard of him?
He's no
he in-
Tyler Shea Cohn. Come on.
I don't
now.
really know. Like,
You're gonna make them bust out the poster, aren't you?
there it is right there.
Oh
Oh yeah,
yeah,
right over there. Right over there.
No, I've never seen that.
Oh, Gump. Nice.
Nice.
James, how did it come about that you would produce and write your own song in the movie?
So it's in the short film. Because the scene in the feature plays out kind of the same as the short. So we were working on the short film, and we had this funny idea that Mike had written, where the farmer's driving along, and it's like, yeah, he needs to be listening to a country song, and where can we get one? I was like, yeah, give me 24 hours. Let me go mess around.
You wrote a song in 24 hours?
Yeah, that's awesome.
I mean, it's only a verse, to be fair, but yeah, that verse and bridge was kind of I just sat down, turned my garage band to twang, and just went to town on it. So
That's so cool.
I know I need to write the whole song out. I just need to do it someday.
And that's my cameo in that episode too. I'm the farmer in the truck.
That's right.
So
Yeah, eating the pumpkin pies,
Yeah.
just driving along.
that was fun.
So yeah, it was just that. And then we talked about redoing it for the feature, and then Mike was just like, let's just pull the same song. It, you can't really change it or improve on it. So it's the same song from the short.
It's too perfect to not use, and we ramped it up a bit more in the in the feature version. So just the whole scene is just much more. I don't know. I think they're both funny, but I feel like the feature version of it is.
And I appreciate how much attention you've Lance and Sam, you guys have paid to that. The little things, like these little details that I kind of don't even really think about much, and you guys picked up on. That's really cool. So.
She mentioned one before the show started, and I said,
Oh
I don't know if you just say anything.
bring it up.
Ask it, can I do it or not do it?
Oh,
Yeah,
do
it's
it.
like
But let's let James answer, because
Okay.
he'll have a whole other perspective.
she was all over this too. I totally missed it.
Oh,
So I
boy.
even replayed it to see if I missed it, but I was like, why, or was there, and why was there, and was it intentional? Is it Wendigo on the list 2 times? And I kept thinking, because I read into everything in
She
a
thought
movie,
it was
I thought it
Oh.
meant it had a meaning that was going to come out eventually. And I was like, where the hell, why didn't the Wendigo ever show up? If he was on there twice, he had to be relevant.
So 2 parts to that answer. Number 1, the writing on the paper is actually Mike's handwriting. My handwriting looks like ass, and so that's his
Mine's not much
handwriting.
better, but
Well, that says a lot about Mike.
It's a nice writing. It's very nice writing.
So we shot the scene, we wrote all the monsters down, and I think the first time we shot it, we misspelled one. It was like Sasquatch or something
it was
like that.
Sasquatch. It was Sasquatch.
And so we're editing it, and Mike's like, God damn it, like, you look at it, we misspelled this wrong. So we go back and we shoot it again. I want to say there was something else wrong, and it was a 3rd time, or was it 2 or 3, Mike? I don't remember.
I
wanna
thought
say
it was just
3.
2, but maybe it was 3. It was such a tender subject. By the time we got to the final,
Well, he didn't
It's
notice
saying
it
it,
until the
it's
movie was
saying
basically done, and he's like, I can't. It was one of those things where I get a random Google chat, and I'm like, hey, guess what? Wendigo's on the list twice. I'm so pissed off right now.
not only that, but it's under the 2 monsters. The first 2 monsters he chooses, it's right under it. So it's
That's
like everyone's
awesome.
going to notice it.
Yeah, he was pissed off. It was pretty
I love
funny.
that.
But we just gave up at that point. He's like, you know what? It stays. I'm
Me
I'm
too.
not going back and shooting this damn paper one more time. So, yeah, that's funny.
Did
Nice
you see
to
that
meet
line
you.
right there, James?
Oh, and my voice. I have to have the mask on.
Lisa Ray right here.
To meet you.
You know,
Sounds
Lisa,
better for the cat mask, but
That is so awesome.
Lisa, that line was one of the very early parts of conceiving this idea of this writer, trying to create this masterpiece and like it failing and reaching a failing point, and Knife to Meet You is always going to be the failing point for the slasher. Like that idea that's older than the Witching season probably. So I'm glad that stuck it through the test of time to make it in there.
You have to be paying attention too to know that it's going to say that, because our ears would automatically hear what we normally hear.
Nice to meet you.
I'm very curious what James is pulling out of his cabinet.
I was just going to show you. So Mike actually gave me this when we finished the episode. It's the tape recorder. And I know that there's recordings of us still talking on here, but I'm not going to play them because I cannot say that what is said is appropriate. So I'm just not going to. But as we were talking about that, I have this prop. So this is the recorder from the thing that I talked
Screen use. That's cool.
Yeah. So I need to, at some point I'll go back and I'll listen to everything and see what is appropriate and what is not. But
right meow.
Right meow.
Meet you. So
Right
I just want to ask. So I know James, you look like you're in your office. You've got a couple things behind you. Mike, you got a zombie or is that?
Oh man, should I show you?
Is that a mummy?
Yeah.
Should I show you?
Look at my shot glass.
It's a mummy.
I
Oh,
just
nice. Yeah,
happen to
he's a
have-
mummy. Here, let's go
And
look
then
at
you're
him.
in the background.
yeah,
I actually got him this season for Halloween. And
Oh, that's awesome.
he was going to go outside, and he ended up just staying in my office for
I would've
That's
stolen-
awesome.
I
the
would've
future.
stolen him.
So
And he'll be there forever.
he'll be there forever.
Nice.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's funny.
It's not creepy being right over your shoulder at all.
Oh no. I thought it's a nice little goose, a little Easter egg. You know.
As long as he
Yeah.
doesn't move. As long as he doesn't move.
Oh yeah.
Somebody.
So how close? Are you two close together? Like,
We're
did you
like
drive to his house right now?
Well,
like
they're
2
literally
minutes apart
right
right
now. They're like 2.5 inches.
Tyler.
So Mike,
Tyler.
Mike, if you look to your left, no, you're right.
wait.
Wait,
James,
am I-
no, the
okay.
other way,
No,
the
there
other
we
way.
go.
Yeah.
Listen
And
here, you
nobody can get
asshole.
the Brady Bunch thing down correctly
No.
for some reason.
Because I'm wondering if everybody's screens look different to them.
I've got James
Mike.
right over here,
We're in the middle.
Yeah, James is right there. Yeah, you're
and
right.
Tyler's right here.
Yep, I'm there.
Okay. Well,
Tyler.
then we're all straight.
They're all
And
good.
that's,
I'm looking
that's
down.
Joe.
I'm looking down at Mike.
Were you asking if we live close together, or were you asking if
Yes.
we're like? Okay.
Are y'all close? Are y'all living close together in the same town?
Wait a little bit.
We used to live in the same neighborhood. Mike bought a house that was throwing stones like 4 houses down from mine. I could throw a rock at his house
He
and hit
was
it.
was trying all the time to hit my house with rocks. I had to call the cops on him. And then
So the filming of the movie was local.
the opening shots in the neighborhood were
That's
actually
our
in that
neighborhood.
neighborhood
Yeah,
Okay.
that we
that's my
I
current
recently
neighborhood.
moved, but
Yeah.
yeah, so it's all within. I mean, the house was the furthest. We had to travel like 45 minutes each way. That was actually pretty far to go there. But everything else, like the carnival, I guess the carnival was right down by
The
that.
school
Everything else, the carnival and
Yeah.
the house were far away. Everything else is within 5 minutes of where we are.
Yeah, the high
And
school.
how long was the shoot?
It was a year, almost
A whole year?
exactly to the day. But
Wow.
it was
Not like
it was a
every
weekend.
day, but yeah.
Yeah, we were like once or twice a week, or even sometimes once every few weeks. It was just whenever we could get everyone together, and it's
So the movie took place over what period of time?
like 24 hours.
But it took a year to shoot.
Yeah,
Isn't that crazy?
and it's
Yeah,
all
'cause
supposed to
they
be
get
set.
there because she wants to go trick or treating that night.
But she's all busted up.
It's all set on Halloween, so we were shooting Halloween. I mean, this isn't new to us because this is what we did with the witching season. But we're in every season of the year shooting fall.
Right.
Yeah.
So
It's a pain in the ass to
Yeah.
save leaves and everything.
we did that.
Or you just get lazy and you're like, nobody's gonna notice.
Oh,
Yeah.
there's some of that in
I
there
did a
too.
movie that took place over 3 days, and it took us over a year to shoot, and it was just like nobody's gonna notice that the trees have leaves now. Nobody's
Yeah.
gonna notice that I have a beard now. Nobody's gonna notice.
Tyler's got a full beard now.
To your point, Tyler, I think people don't like. After a certain point, if you establish it's like the Lord of the Rings mentality of like they have a few shots that really set up the size proportions of the hobbits to the humans, and then there's certain shots later on as the movie goes on that you can kind of tell they're not the same. Like it's like if you set it up early on, I think you can kind of get away with it. There are shots that are clearly in the spring and They Live Inside Us later on where there's like flowers blooming, and then a shot later they're all dead and there's leaves on the ground, and so we have some of that too. But
Was the house an empty house, or did someone actually live in the home?
Ooh. It's a loaded question.
Yeah.
Right?
Why don't you answer it, James?
So just our friend Jake, he owns it, and then a shit ton of ghosts who live there. Like,
So he's-
I'm
So
not
do you have
kidding.
like cool ghost stories?
Yeah.
we do.
All right, are we going to go here right now?
Wow, this is cool.
I just want to know.
Your podcast.
Wow.
Okay. So James,
Wow. That's cool.
I want to know about this kind of stuff because I'm skeptic, but I'm also very, very open, and I've had my own experiences. So what happened on the set?
Okay. I'll go through this. Mike, jump in if I miss anything. So early on, and to be fair, Tyler, I'm pretty much the same way. I don't like to say I know something or this or that. I'm pretty skeptical unless I can, see it with my own eyes. So during the shooting of the short, we had a couple of weird things happen. Nothing that we couldn't explain, but it was a little weird just to start off with. We'd hear banging. We heard we heard a clanking sound in the other room, and we went in there. There was a fork on the cutting board that was like we picked it up, and it was that sound we'd been hearing. We heard
one thing too. This goes back to we made the short film in the same house. So
I was going to ask. Okay.
Yeah, so there were things that happened in the house during the short film, and then things that happened during the feature. But
the feature amplified it quite a bit.
Yeah, it was like the crescendo.
Yeah. So we're in the short. We were shooting the short, and I'm standing there on the stairs talking to Alan, and this little cabinet just swings open right in front of my face. So I was like, "What the hell?" So again, but none of that you couldn't explain, right? A leaky pipe, or maybe the spring on the cabinet just popped off. I don't know.
Right.
We get into the feature, and I should preface this by saying that the owner of the house absolutely believes that something is going on. He's seen things, he's heard things. This house is very old, dating back. We'd show up sometimes on set. He was sleeping downstairs and had sage around the house. And we're like,
wow.
What's going on, Jake?
Midway through the feature filming, that's what happened. We come over and he's got his bed set up in the front room. Like, what's going on here? He's I just like it down here. Like, no, you don't. You don't like it down here.
Oh, good. I love sage.
Well, he legitimately said, I remember he was like, yeah, I heard a scream last night. And I thought I'd sleep down. I was like, well, Jake, what the, that's not, no, Jake. So anyway, this kind of crescendoed up. There was another time we heard who we thought was Alan walking around upstairs. We heard literal just walking around. We go up there. There's no one there. 10 minutes later, Alan walks in. Oh, hey guys, what's up? I'm like,
Alan Bradford's one of our producers.
Yeah.
Wow. Shout out to Alan.
But the pinnacle we actually caught on tape. And that's why this is so intriguing. At least the audio. So we're filming a scene in this hallway. Everyone in the house, all 6 or 7 of us are in one bedroom. And we're filming a scene that I walk out into the hallway and it's completely quiet.
To investigate a strange noise in the movie. That's what your character is doing.
It's bizarre. And we hear what sounds like a crash and this almost like a ketchup bottle squeezing down the hall. And we caught this on camera. You hear the sound. And I believe Alan's exact words are, "What the F is that?" behind us as we're filming it. And so we finished the scene and then we're like, okay, that was weird. So we walked down into the bathroom and the conditioner bottle on the side of the bathtub has been squeezed all over the carpet and thrown into the tub.
Wow.
So
nobody was over there.
No, no one. And again, people will say, "Oh yeah, sure." No one was in the house but us. No one.
What's crazy though is the crazy. So we heard the crash there when it happened, and then we're like, well, how did that happen? Maybe it fell. The part that was the weirdest is we play back the footage because this was all captured in the video. The take that we were shooting, and that take I had to make sure was in the movie because there's no way we could have chosen another take. We had to choose that one. But when we play it back, that's when you heard the squeezing, the ketchup bottle sound. That was the second part of it. We're like, holy shit! That's you could hear it squeezing out onto the floor, and then it gets tossed in there. So
you have to do the documentary for this. You've got to do this.
No, so you guys are all in one room. Nobody else is over there.
No.
No one else is in the house. We thought that the owner, Jake, was maybe he had someone hidden there, but he's the type of person that would tell us that. And it'd be really hard to sneak around that house. Everywhere you walk, the floors creak. If someone ran out of that bathroom,
there was no one there. I mean, like I said, we've had people say that, oh, someone else. No, there was no one in the house. No one's there. It's just us. And
That is awesome.
I'm a
awesome.
firm believer in that stuff, and
It was freaky. We were uncomfortable
I love
that whole night. We're just like, so what do we do? Do we keep filming or what?
Dude, we left. Like we came down and we were all like shaken by this. We were like, okay. We didn't want something to follow us home. We're like, well, we'll just go, I guess. We just kind of took off. Like
Oh yeah,
we were done at that point.
We're leaving.
to invite your friend to spend the night with you, like instead, or did y'all just leave him there?
No, we left him. He's
Bye, Jake.
We did.
bye, Jake. We're up.
But I actually felt bad leaving him. I'm like, he's gonna have to stay and deal with this.
I
He was
didn't.
scared.
The
Dude,
ghost demanded a sacrifice, and Jake was the only. Jake was the obvious answer, so we did what needed to be done, and we left him there. So.
Oh man, that's
Yeah,
crazy.
that was wild.
That's
So
the
get-
kind of stuff that I love. And
Yeah.
and again, like just like James, and Mike, you might be the same way, like where like I'm skeptic, but I'm open to these experiences, and I had my own. And even though I've had my own, I'm still kind of like, well, that was one time.
Yeah,
And more than that, then I'm going to start to like buy into it a little bit more. But I mean, that's a really cool experience, especially the fact that you guys heard something
yeah.
on tape, and then you go in there and it's just conditioner like all over the floor. Like,
That's crazy.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
y'all scouted the place. Was it known being haunted?
You
So
want to tell it? Yeah.
Yeah,
Go-
yeah. So Jake is a good friend. Jake, the guy that owns the house, who we named James's character after. He's a good friend of mine, and he is sort of, so he bought this house and he's kind of renovated it, but he renovated it to match that authentic Victorian. He just loves Victorian era stuff. So he's made it like it just feels like you're walking through a museum. Like everywhere you look, there's just ancient masks and artifacts and
Oh,
crazy. You know, he's got this massive gun collection, just like
you
crazy
bringing
stuff
all
all
this
over the
stuff
house.
into the house.
What's that? Sorry.
What did you
You
say,
bringing
Tyler?
all this stuff into the house.
He did.
Yeah.
He brought it all into the house. So he's brought in crazy stuff that who knows what came with that stuff that he's brought in there. There
I
is
know.
like
Then he wonders
voodoo
why his
masks and
house is
shit.
haunted.
Right.
I got voodoo masks on the wall. I got World War II.
And sometimes when he
tombstones in
gives
my
you something, he's
backyard.
like, "Here, take this mask." It's like, "Why are you giving this to me? Is
Ghost
there
lights.
something that came with this? Am I
We
taking this?"
took, we took this off for someone that was dead, but
Like getting rid of the Annabelle
Wall
doll. He's
now.
like, here, take this.
Yeah.
That's
He gave
Jake's
me a
been-
monkey. He gave me a stuffed monkey one time, and that thing is terrifying. I don't know what I mean. Here, take this home. Give it to your daughter. I don't know.
Inside a cage.
Yeah, for real.
Why is it
He's
locked
always-
up?
He's always wanted a movie to be shot there, so that's what when we first met, that's what he told me, and I'm like, "Well, I'm a filmmaker, so maybe I'll come up with an idea for a haunted house movie." So that started getting the wheels turning, and then it was always going to be the house we shot in. He loved it. He really was awesome about. I mean, we came there for a year straight, you know, shooting on weekends and whatnot, and he was just the best to let us come and do what we needed to do. And we gave him a cameo in the movie too. He's the killer in Drill
Oh
Massacre
yeah,
4.
yeah.
So he's the killer with the drill chasing the girl, and he
Okay.
really liked doing that. So Jake's been awesome, and he's an executive producer on the movie too. We just kind of gave that to him because without him, there's just really no way the movie would have been able to happen in the way that it did. We would have had to rent it on an old house and had a much more like we would have needed more money to do it the right way. And it was awesome. So
Yeah.
I don't wanna-
was that a cordless drill?
I don't know.
I'm pretty
know.
sure. Well, yeah, I think it was
It's a-
battery powered.
It's an old one.
Or a really, really long extension cord?
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
been around with an extension.
Because nobody has a gas powered, like you have a gas powered chainsaw, but you don't have a gas powered drill.
Yeah.
And so it's either got to be cordless or it's going to be a really, really long extension. I'm just trying to figure out how to kill somebody with a drill.
It can happen. Oh, it can happen.
Oh,
But
Tyler.
it's got to take some time too. 'Cause you got to get it started, and you got to like.
We shot that on like an old video camera to give it like a different look from the rest of the movie. So we, instead of just shooting what we needed for the movie, we shot like a full 8-minute short film that's all edited together, and that we need to release that as well because there's more than what you see in They Live Inside Us with Drill Massacre. So
So
I
you have
found-
to release some of that.
For the short.
for the yeah we made it when we were making the feature, so it was just another shoot day. Yeah,
Okay.
we just did it in one night, and we're like, well, let's shoot more than just the 30 seconds that'll show up on screen, and so.
So
Tyler's search history
found
is going to have long drills search for it in there.
I found the footage of the ghost sound. If you want, I can try to play it over my speaker if you guys want to. If not, I can just send it to you.
I say, yeah.
Let's try.
Yeah,
I
try.
love what Inframan just said. How do you kill someone with a drill bit by bit? Thank you.
There you go.
Nice bow. Very
Got him.
nice.
Okay, I'll try this, and you guys tell me if you can even hear this, all right?
And action.
That's awesome.
Go. What the fuck?
Okay, so
Oh,
Dude,
wow.
I have my
So-
arm.
I got goosebumps.
They're chicken skin right now.
Yeah.
My
Oh
arms
my
are.
gosh.
if you guys want to pull up my screen, I'll show you the kind of what we were shooting here. Maybe. Hold on.
Yeah, you can
Kind
write
of.
it.
So, yeah,
Oh,
so I'm down this hallway.
Looking out a door.
Yeah, and I'm shaking my head right there. That's actually me reacting to the sound. Like, God damn it, not again. Like we kept hearing things. Anyway, so that's what we were filming.
That's
so-
awesome.
And we actually have more footage later too. I have to find it. I think Mike has it somewhere of the stuff. Like we went in with the camera and looked and like, oh, there's conditioner all over the ground. That's cool.
Yeah.
So
That crash sounded really angry.
Oh yeah. It was hard. It was loud and like yeah.
It was
like we recreated it by throwing the conditioner into the tub, and it sounded the exact same. We're like,
Oh,
that
wow.
that was it.
That's insane. Yeah, 'cause it's not a fall. It's like a
oh, it's
hit.
a throw. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
It was VO5 conditioner, so we think the ghost was pissed off that
what the hell
Jake
is
had
this?
like a higher end.
Can give you the
Some
good
sort of
shit.
a-
I'm worth
yeah.
it.
I'd
It's
hilarious.
L'Oreal.
Yeah.
L'Oreal or something.
I would be pissed off too if it was.
So again, take it for what it is. But we caught that on camera. And you
Here,
can
look.
hear it.
Joe used to be
Joe, is that
Don't,
VO5?
don't hate me
Is that-
because I'm beautiful.
Shoot, Jody uses the good stuff.
No, that's VO5. That's definitely VO5. So anyway, yeah. So I'm glad I found that, but it was weird. So
Yeah,
take it
that's
for what it
neat.
is.
Tyler's gonna sleep good tonight.
Yeah, I've got some of my own stories too. Have you guys ever heard of they're terrors? So they're almost like shadow people. And some people see them and some people don't. And I had a friend in Los Angeles, and I went to go stay out there with him one time, and he was telling me all about these shadow people that he sees all the time in his house, and he sees them everywhere, and he's just sensitive to that kind of stuff. And I'm like, yeah, okay, whatever. And one time I'm talking to him in the house, and like literally, like the hair on the back of my neck, like we're just talking, and all of a sudden the hair on the back of my neck stands up, and he stops and he goes, "It's right behind you."
Oh, God, dog.
I was like, oh,
Oh my god.
oh.
Yeah, that's weird.
I'm going.
See
I
ya.
was like, all right, I believe you. Fine.
So
Have you seen anything like that yourself, or
Me?
like the yeah?
Yeah.
I've had that's probably one of the closest the closest experiences that I've had. But I've had similar things that have been unexplainable, like things that are rattling and
Yeah.
like can't explain why. But I was with the same guy, and he was like, "Oh, there's this guy that's in this house, and he was back here in the 90s or 80s or whatever it was. Like we were in Los Angeles, and there were times where all of a sudden the radio would turn on and it would be playing 80s music, like just out of the blue 80s music. And so I always discredited Max, thinking that he was just kind of insane. But now I'm kind of like, he probably was a lot more in tune than I was. And I stayed the night in the Queen Mary in Long Beach by myself. I've stayed in the Stanley Hotel. I've stayed at there's a haunted hotel in Galveston that I've stayed in. There's a haunted hotel in Boulder that I've stayed in. Like I've stayed in haunted places.
I've stayed in
And
the Stanley too. Stanley's amazing.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, it's awesome.
It's a bucket list for me.
Oh,
And I went through, and I was like making fun of people in the pictures. I was like taunting them.
You're
I was
antagonizing.
trying to get the.
trying to get something. And
You're like that asshole in Ghost Hunters.
I was
who's,
gonna
like,
say,
arguing with the ghost. Come on,
Yeah.
show me something.
Come
Fight me, bro.
Yeah. that was me.
Fight me, bro.
Come at me.
Yeah, I'm not afraid of you. I work out. I'm like, oh my god.
I'm not like that.
Yeah.
But I did, I tried to, like, I've always tried to be open to those kind of things. But like what you guys were doing, you weren't trying to be open. Like you're trying to film something and then something happened. Like I think a lot different. Because I think if there is something out there and you're like trying to invite it, you're trying to be open to it. I feel that they probably sense that. So they're just kind of like,
yeah. Maybe that's the best repellent for it is you try to welcome it because it'll come if you don't want it. Maybe
Exactly.
right.
I weirdly, like when we came to this house and we were going to shoot there, we knew because we made the short film there and we knew like weird things have happened. And Jake had all sorts of stories. He said there were days where he would, he was outside in the yard. He'd look up in the window and he'd see a little girl looking back at him and like stuff like that, it's pretty like, but we hadn't had that happen to us. But I sort of, when we first started filming, I kind of told the house what we were there to do, and I'm glad that we walk away with the weird experience. Yeah, I'm like, hey house, no, but I wanted to give it our intentions of what we're doing.
I'm like, who are you talking to, Mike?
I'm like, don't worry about it. We're having a conversation.
Get out.
That's so good.
But I think like it's pretty awesome that we were able to like make a ghost story in a house that's maybe haunted and have something that happened, because if it didn't happen, I mean, it just kind of enriches the experience of making the movie there,
We also made the Count Spookula ghost hunting episode there too. That's where
Wow,
so
that's
there's that.
cool.
Do you think if you were going to do like a rom-com that would have just pissed off the ghost?
It probably would have been much worse, right?
Lore, that's fine. But if you're going to try to do like romantic comedy, like I'm going to scare you the hell out of this house.
Like a Hallmark movie.
Yeah.
Everything else done in Utah.
Yeah.
Mormon Hallmark movie.
Maybe the Mormon Hallmark needs to be invited over to make a love story just to see.
Test that theory out.
That pissed me off, and I'm not even dead. So
That's so good.
The
House Whisperer.
The House Whisperer.
Oh yeah.
That is so good.
Michael, what's your tradition with every movie? I become one with the house.
Apparently.
I talk to the house.
I talk to the house.
fill the
We
wall.
get good.
Hey, I wanted to make sure we're on the same page, and I think it. I don't know. Maybe it agrees, maybe not. Nothing beyond that happened. That was. I mean, we didn't see any figures or what. I don't know. It could have been much worse. So
We never felt anything sinister. That was the worst one. Everything else seemed like it was playful. And again, most things you could explain away. That was the one that like, but also that being the one that we couldn't explain away made all the others all of a sudden seem like, you know what I mean? That we'd had happen. There was one other one we heard a banging from inside Jake's gun safe. Like we're like actually inside it, like a knocking. We're like, what? Hello?
Oh, wow.
Inside the gun safe?
Yeah. So anyway.
Leave that shut.
Yeah, we're not gonna open that up.
No, but like Mike was saying, it was really cool to film the movie there and to have this kind of back lore to it. You know what I mean? And obviously the movie's very, fantastical in its origins and everything, but just having that little element there, that these little things we experienced, it definitely made it more fun.
That's awesome.
The amazing Mrs. Beck is asking, so is the haunted house, is it haunted? Is it a haunted house, or are there objects in the house haunted? I think we talked a little bit about this, that
I don't know.
it could be both.
I'd say
he's
Jake
brought
would
a
say
lot
the
of things
house,
in.
but
yeah, he hasn't told us about any objects that are like that he knows about to have some weird history, but he did tell us that back when it was first built, there are newborn baby or not stillborn babies, not newborn. I mean, I guess whatever, but they're buried in the yard. I don't know.
If they were newborn babies, that'd explain a lot, but no, it was
stillborns that were buried in the yard. So that just adds to it. Yeah.
Weird.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's really called the Booth House. It's in Nephi, Utah. That's where we shot it. So
I think the next film you guys make you need to have a documentary crew
On the booth house.
recording as you guys are making just documentary, doing the background, all that kind of stuff to kind of pick up some of the stuff. I think that would be cool. Like, I don't know if it's following you guys. It might be.
Oh, God, I hope not.
It could be.
That's
I'm
the
just
thing.
saying. But if you're going to go and film in these places that obviously have some sort of an energy, it would be interesting to have someone there that's just kind of like documenting the entire thing.
Cool.
Yeah.
We did have some. We had a camera guy who would film behind the scenes quite a bit. I don't think. I mean, maybe if we go back and watch during some of those, maybe there's something. I don't think he ever caught anything weird.
He wasn't there that day, and all we had was the shooting camera that day. So
Yeah, like I said, it always felt deliberate though. Whenever these things happen, it was always like we had the fog machine went off one time too. Just started going off on its own.
yeah, it's never done it before that or after that. It was just started going, and you have to press the button to shoot the fog out, and it was just that was when James likes to make fun of me and say that I kicked my camera to the ground, but I didn't. I had my camera on a slider, and the slider wasn't locked off. So I'm about to shoot a take, and the fog starts going off in the other room. So I don't know why, but my reaction was like, "Oh, I got to go run in and stop that." So I ran in there without locking my camera off. My camera just tips over. And
Nah,
it crashes.
he's Spartan tricked it like what's his name, Leonidas in 300. He
Oh,
kicks the
bastard.
camera over and over.
That's good stuff.
Yeah, there's weird stuff that's happened there, but I don't
Well,
think
can
we've
we-
had weird things.
Can we
happen
find all
anywhere
your?
else.
Can we find all some good stuff on a YouTube channel?
Yes.
Is all the other episodes are on? You can see stuff on a YouTube channel, not just look up each episode.
What's your YouTube channel?
Yeah, it's youtube.com/witching season films. Just
Okay.
look up Witching Season Films on YouTube. And yeah, we have like some making ofs for some of the Witching Season episodes, and that's where we have our Count Spookula's Horror-thon series
Yes.
up there, stuff like that. So
Yes.
we'll have new stuff coming there soon too.
Yeah.
And
what?
else to find our awesome guests?
I've got a trailer that I've been dying to.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
Tell them about the trailer.
Okay.
James, like, sure,
Is this our trailer? Is that what you're saying?
That's it.
Oh,
It's-
okay.
You don't want
Um,
to see my trailer.
No.
So this is
All right, take your word for it.
Yeah, I actually got to cut the trailer for our movie.
Oh, cool.
I love making trailers. That's actually one of my favorite things. Talk about editing and different things, different hats. I love putting trailers together. And so I've actually done all the trailers for the series and everything. Mike's been very cordial, and it was funny. We're
James
talking
does
the
a
other
great
day.
job. This trailer, like we all really love what he just James killed it on this trailer. So we're so proud of it.
Yeah, but it was funny because we were talking the other day. He's like, I've made like all these movies with you. When am I going to make one of my own trailers? I was like, nah, it's you don't.
No.
So,
That's awesome.
not your hat.
You guys
All right,
ready?
watch it.
Yes,
Do
sir.
it.
sure. Every house has a story that lives inside it,
It's the booth house.
like a memory in a brain. The characters of these stories are the ghosts of the people who once inhabited these places, forgotten by the passage of time.
What are we doing here? In this house?
I know what you're looking for. It's in this house.
What's in this house?
Keep looking. It's right in front of you.
Do you ever get tired? Doing the same thing over and over and over.
I will put that down as one of the best trailers that I've ever seen.
Oh,
Wow.
That
Badass
was
trailer.
amazing.
glad
It
you
is.
liked it. Yeah. Every time I see that the clown, I have like PTSD from the makeup behind that.
Yeah, James plays all the monsters. I don't know if you guys.
You were
knew
the
that.
clown too?
Yeah, he's the main character. He plays the masked killer. He plays the clown, the scarecrow, and then Count Spookula, of course.
That clown makeup was brutal. Holy cow. The nose kept falling off, and yeah, I couldn't see. Mike found these really great contexts that are but take away about 90% of your vision. They look really good, and we're filming at night, especially in those the basement of that old high school we filmed at. And I could not see anything. So when I was walking up and down, I was like an elderly person. They had to help me up the stairs so I didn't fall. But
that was fantastic.
Thank you.
Thank you. We appreciate that for real. Thank you.
I remember thinking as the opening scenes are coming in and you've got the travel and stuff like that, your aerial shots, the music, the way things all came together, you did a great job. Well done.
Thank you so much.
Well,
I appreciate that.
Mike's cinematography is fantastic. So
thanks, buddy.
It's so cool.
It's high.
Oh, does it?
Yeah.
You did your own stunt too, right?
Yeah, I did. Yeah. It was funny. One of the first comments, it was so mean, but it made me laugh so hard. One of the comments on the trailer was like, that guy looks like an older, bloated Elijah Wood.
Wow.
Wow.
That's right.
I have to admit, I laughed out loud. I was like, you son of a bitch. That's really funny. So
I'm not even angry.
It's so funny.
yeah, that's really good. Yeah, that's a great insult. That was a good burn. Can't even be mad.
That's awesome.
Very knife trailer.
There we go.
I see what you did there.
See what you did, Lucia. That's awesome.
Yeah.
What are we talking about? Meow. So we are going to ask each of you if you'll let us know where people can follow you, find you, not just your movie, but what you're currently working on, where your past stuff is, anything you want people to know about you. This is your chance.
Sure. Mike?
Yeah. I'm on Instagram, Ballif, Ballif. And I post pictures of my cats there and stuff like that. Or
cool shots.
And yes, I do post shots occasionally. We just finished 31 shots of Halloween, so that's what those shots were that Lance is talking about. They're shots that I would just go out every day and capture like some sort of an atmospheric Halloween sort of shot, and did it every day through the course of October. So now I'm exhausted and glad I don't have to do that anymore. But those are up on the Witching Season Films Instagram. So it's just Witching Season Films. If you look that up, you'll find most of my creative stuff. So
Awesome.
Yeah.
So M. Ballif.
yeah, Mballif.
And James?
Most of my stuff obviously funnels through Witching Season. My Instagram is James Morris 7403. I rarely post pictures of my cat because my cat's an a-hole. I do a lot of film stuff. I'm actually a cop for my day job. I don't know if anyone didn't know that. So occasionally you'll see me
Oh, that's
posting.
real?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you were on a movie set.
No, that's actually me.
Well, thank you for what you do.
Yeah, thank you, James.
Appreciate that. So you'll see pictures of me doing fun training stuff every now and then. Nothing too much, but and then on Facebook, I'm at let me see here, Facebook.com/James Lindsay Morris, Lindsey. And so that's more so just for film stuff as well. And I have some other projects on YouTube, but if you check out my Instagram or Facebook, you'll find links to everything. So
Cool. I want to thank y'all for letting this get together and letting us talk with you. It's been fun, and I think Tyler's like super overexcited here.
Yeah.
He got a ghost story.
Oh yeah.
No, well, thank you guys. This is such a cool layout you have too. We were both like, this is really impressive.
This is legit. You guys are awesome.
Jump
Thank
back
you,
and forth
producer.
and everything.
Thanks, producer Joe.
Yeah, Joe.
Good job, Joe.
Thanks, Joe.
Thank you.
Blame Joe.
Joe finally got the camera to work.
No, it's cool. Yeah, no, because it's the way you're cutting in and out and bringing everything up. It's very smooth and just really cool to watch. So, no,
Yeah, it's awesome.
I know we talked to I talked to Lance off and on over the last few months as we kind of go back and forth a little bit, but we appreciate you guys' support. Indie film is such a passion thing. You know, it requires so much work and so much time and everything, and so having things get noticed and having people care to hear about it,
We just have to have
it means a lot.
wanna-
So both of you tasing somebody in the butthole. If you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
Ryan Reynolds and Elijah Wood.
yeah. I can't promise I'll be posting butthole tasing anytime soon. but
James, please don't.
Please don't.
yeah. I don't think
Michael won't admit if he agreed anyway.
I haven't been tased in the butthole, so that's,
Sorry, James.
that's something I'm proud of.
I'm on it. I'll get right on that.
But yes, thank you both, like all of you guys, so much for the support. And Lance, you constantly are posting and promoting our stuff, and it really means a lot because we,
It really
like
does.
James said,
It means a lot.
us creating this stuff. Basically, we're not doing this to make money. Like we're not like we're making these projects so far because we love it, and I mean that will be the case in future projects, of course. But it's a labor of love, and without people like you that are out there, on our side, it's like we have nothing. So
We absolutely love this community. Samantha and I, once we got to the podcast, we've fallen head over heel in love with it, and with the stuff that you guys do, it's not easy. And I try to explain this to people that making a movie's not easy, and you guys kicked ass on this one. I mean, I'm sorry. If people don't want to agree with me, that's fine. I'm saying y'all kicked ass on this movie, and I love it.
I think
And
so.
yeah,
Thanks,
not
buddy.
everyone's going to like it. It's just like anything, right? Some people love it, some people hate it, and that's okay. It's been interesting to have the movie get out in such a bigger release, because most of the things we've done before have been pretty limited, but this was being released on all these major platforms, and so it's definitely had a lot more positive feedback and a lot more negative, and so it's just what it is,
You're always going to have that. Like,
Yeah.
Forrest Gump's a main piece of shit. Like, no matter what, you're always going to have people that love it and people that hate it.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah,
You know what? Even if they're talking bad about it,
They're
they're
talking
talking
about
about
they're
it.
talking about it. Yeah, some people are
So
watching.
you've got people who are going to say, "Oh, I'm going to watch it just because he said he hated it, and I'm going to see if it's really." And then they're like, "Oh no, I love it." So you get people talking one way or the other.
Yeah,
yeah. I try to remind myself, like, look up your favorite movie and just look at the reviews on IMDb, and it's like there's people that hate everything that you love. They're just gonna shit on it, and
Absolutely.
and that's
You
just the way
said
that's the way
A
art
while
works.
ago, y'all had movie night where you just picked bad movie night.
Yeah,
and my comment was like, God, it feels like weekly here for me because
And
he
some of
loves everything. And I don't always love
I can hear you
everything.
talking. I can hear what you're saying.
And some of it is legit. Like, you read, like, your favorite movie, you read some of the reviews, you're like, that's a pretty good. Yeah, they're right.
Yeah, true.
I liked his comment. Horror is like pizza. That is a beautifully simplistic, but
Bo knows.
accurate. Yeah, no, for real. Because if you have action movies, they're pretty straightforward. With horror movies, you have everything from the top end, Conjuring, all the way down to the indie stuff, and they're so different, and each have their own audience.
That's right.
And as a creator, like I said, you have to understand, like, some people are gonna love it, some aren't, but it's been so much fun to see this process come to life and to go through the whole thing from making it to distribution and all the all the hours Mike and I have spent talking through things and figuring it out. It's been so enlightening, and I'm honestly excited to see what comes after because of all we've learned from this. Like, it's like, okay, we've now done this. What can we do above and beyond this now?
There you go.
Totally.
Well, and it's refreshing and nice to see two people. Ooh, something just shocked me through my earbud. It shocked my ear. My
Wasn't
dog.
me.
I think my dog made static electricity
me.
on my earphone, and it shocked me.
The ghost is
Right.
pissed off.
It just
Hide your VO5.
stabbed me with an ice pick. But what I want to say is it's nice. I know we've got friends that work together, and people have these people that they work together, but y'all have a connection together that is very
It's brotherly.
visible
Yeah.
and very not in a wrong way. So people, please don't take it that way, but very affectionate for each other in the right ways, and you respect each other, and it's nice to see, and it's very refreshing.
Yeah, I mean, I agree 100%. We have our differences just like anyone. There's things we disagree on, but at the end of the day, we're friends first and foremost. And so we've never had a disagreement that has come between us for more than a day. You know what I mean? Well, hey, sorry, I was an asshole yesterday. Yeah, don't worry about it. Like it is what it is. And
like
I know Mike well enough now that we understand each other really, really well. So
I think we both have our things that we care most about with these, with what we're doing. We share the same goal, and we both have found a way to sort of collaborate where we're furthering our careers at the same time, and it's just a good healthy creative relationship, even though James actually is an asshole. So just remember that.
Everybody has to have one of those friends.
I was waiting for it. I was like, he's not going to let this go.
By the way, it's, in the chat, Drew Bart said you guys are doing great, and I just got to say, Drew Bart, you're doing great. Drew Bart is the guy that made so in the short film They Live Inside Us, he made an amazing cover to Don't Fear the Reaper. It didn't end up on the Blu-ray, but it's on YouTube. So the YouTube version is slightly different than the Blu-ray.
Okay.
But he made this awesome cover for Don't Fear the Reaper. He's a musician, and
check that out.
Shout out.
Nice. I didn't know that was you, Drew. Thank you. That was cool.
That's awesome. So, Mike, real quick, James, close your ears.
Close your ears, James.
Are they closed? Is James really an asshole?
He's a son of a bitch. I don't know about an asshole.
Okay.
Yeah, he's an asshole. Yeah.
You can read lips.
Did you hear
That's
that,
awesome.
All I saw was asshole.
That's awesome. That's so good.
Tase him.
No, James and I he's been an amazing brother in arms in getting projects off the ground. And if it weren't for James, there's no way. Like we needed each other to make this movie. So I'm extremely appreciative of James, and I kid, but he's my brother for real.
Awesome.
That's awesome.
Same to you, man.
I like you guys a lot. You guys are really, really cool. It's been awesome talking to you guys.
Thank you. We appreciate
Likewise,
that.
man. Nice to meet you and talk to you.
Some of my
Oh,
best
thank
friends.
I was so excited to get Tyler to meet them. I was super excited.
If y'all would, we're going to drop you down, but don't go away. We're going to say our good nights and loves, and we'll see you.
Everybody
guys in
see
just a
their
second.
movie.
Yes.
Thank all of you. Nice to meet you, Tyler, and nice to meet you in person, Lance.
Awesome. Thanks, Joe.
You guys,
Thank you.
Likewise, guys. Thanks, Joe.
Don't go nowhere.
Okay.
Just gonna drop you down.
All right, and just for everybody else watching, we actually live in a beautiful condo in Florida down here, not a trailer. But thank you for asking.
That's good stuff. That's awesome. Tyler, what's going on? Do you think it might be coming this way, or what's going on?
Yep, coming out early December for a few.
What?
Gonna go check it out. Hopefully, we're gonna
Move.
get you guys over at the gas station.
Yes.
Yes.
That would be awesome. And hopefully get Scara, Damsel of the Doom to come out, and then Autumn Horror.
Okay.
I think she was, because she and Sarah are connected. And then I'm trying to get some people together, just to kind of have a gathering. I really got to get out there and rather than showing up to something that's already done, I want to try to bring people together. And so I'm got a couple weeks to do it, and let's see if we can get some people out there to meet us in Texas.
I will inbox you. I got a plan.
Amelia Kincaid's going to be there too. That's going to be pretty cool.
Nice. And if anybody here is listening, if anybody else wants to try to come out around that same time, reach out to us, and hopefully we can just have like a nice socially distanced. I'm fine because I have the antibodies, so I'm not worried. But just get together and catch up in person.
Cool.
I'm seeing messages on the side here. Tampa would be better. Orlando would be better.
Joe, Joe and Terry are in that area, so they want us all to travel
So,
over there so they can see us.
Joe's in this area, Terry, and a whole bunch of filmmakers in Tampa and Lakeland and hint, wink, wink, nudge,
Wink,
nudge.
wink.
We can't please everybody. I'm sorry.
Maybe on the next trip.
It's nicer than Texas.
Yep.
Texas is home for all of us, though.
Oh yeah, that's right. I forgot.
So
Shit.
one thing that I noticed is everybody has such a brown beard, and except for
Are you,
is
are
red.
you talking about my beard?
No, not your beard. Sorry, everybody
you don't
except for
have a beard.
Sam. Should I just shave this or something? I feel like
I like it.
I like it.
It makes you look real distinguished.
If you do that look you do sometimes, you could actually play a sinister part.
The world
in a
domination
role.
look. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
You see, this is trying to cover up COVID chins.
Ah, God.
this is a COVID chin.
No,
No,
Joe
he's
said
saying
he's,
to cover up-
he's trying to
Joe-
cover
Joe
up
trying to cover
Joe's shins. Well, Tyler, I think we all know where to find you, but do you want to share?
Jeffrey Dean Morgan. I see you that, Luciana. Where to find me?
Yes.
Tyler J. Cohn. Tyler Cohn on Instagram. Tyler Shea Cohn on Facebook. I'm gonna redo my website. I'm gonna go ahead and start pushing myself a little bit more for voiceovers and acting and everything. So you guys are gonna start seeing a lot more of me because I'm going through a
tough time. A tough time.
No.
No, he's
Positive.
got-
No.
No, good.
This is
Okay.
This is a good. I'm transitioning and I'm focusing on me from now
Good
on.
for you.
Okay.
Good for you. You've got. I think you've got great opportunities in front of you, and this is a great time to do it.
Thanks, Sam. Appreciate that.
I've been saying that for like 2 years now.
Well-
Since I met you.
I know, and I appreciate that too, and I love both of you. So
We love you.
And I get to see Tyler soon. The next month can't be happier for me.
Gonna have some fun, man.
Y'all thought it was Lance that cared so much.
But
I'm
he's the president
I'm
of
still the
fan club.
president of the fan club. All right, let's
We
let everybody
got
go.
to Joe, you're in Florida, right?
Yes.
Yeah, we still have to go out to Florida. I'm up for that.
Yeah.
Definitely.
I'm just going to travel the world from now on.
There you go. And then Lance, you can show off your breakdance moves.
I love how the dog is like, fuck that. I'm walking.
She gone. Yeah, we hadn't seen that in a while, had we?
It
No,
gets
you were a
better.
traitor. You showed it on another show, so I pulled it.
Who shot another
Who
show?
showed up? What'd you do?
I didn't show another show.
Samantha gave it to somebody to load on for another show.
You give it to somebody else?
I didn't think so.
Okay.
I
Never
love
mind.
you.
I don't have the evidence.
We love you guys.
Love you guys.
Thank y'all for tuning in. See, they live inside us. Support indie horror.
Till next time.
HORROR. Love you guys.
Love y'all. Kiss.
Did you guys do the kiss thing yet?